All right, everyone, welcome to our final project showcase. We're so excited to have you here today. We've got some really awesome presentations to share with you. We're going to be showcasing some of our software engineering presentations as well as our product design programs. So can't wait for you to watch. We have some really awesome alumni here to share what they have accomplished with us. During our time, the way we'll run is we'll have one person go share their project, and then we will have some time for Q&A afterwards. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. You can also use the Q&A function, and I will make sure to get to it. You don't have to wait till the very end. You can put it in as they are presenting, and I will make sure that it gets answered. So see a question from Ricky. Yes, you will be able to see a recording of this about 3 to 5 business days after this event wraps up, sometime next week. Our event coordinator will send out a recording to everyone who signed up. So you'll be able to watch it again. Awesome question. All right, well, without further ado, we're going to start off with Chukwuma, who has his healthcare system interface project to share with us. You ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Yeah, my name is Chukwuma. I'm from software engineering. I'm going to share my info, and then I'm going to share my application. So let's do a quick screen share. All right. So the name of my application is Healthcare System Interface. I'm going to log in. All right, so we're logged in. And the reason that I created this application is because electronic medical records can be cumbersome to use and are often non-customizable. Some of the complaints I've seen are too many clicks, lost productivity due to the extra time consumed with electronic health records, as well as increased costs from the medical record itself. The technologies I've used for this include React for the front end, Rails for the back end with active record to manage the database. I've also used React to print records, as well as active storage to store images. Anyway, let's get started. So as you can see, we're on the home page. Every user can see their profile. You can navigate. So let's navigate to providers. So any provider that's in the healthcare system interface can be seen easily. You can see who has which patients. And this is important because providers can share different patients. So it's nice to see who else is following a patient so that you can communicate better with each other. Now let's go to appointments. There are 3 areas. You can make an appointment, add a new patient, and display appointments. The one thing about this design is it's space saving. So all these are expandable options. So you can click make an appointment with any patient. Any existing patient, you can make an appointment. You can add a new patient. You can also display appointments. You can go to patient records, and you can display a record of each patient. And of course, render is acting up. So we'll use the local version. You can display records here. Okay, the local version acting up. Of course, nothing a quick little refresh can't do. So the nice thing about this is you can easily manage patient records. Oh, here we go. All right, now let's see if we can see something this time. Okay, so this guy has a history and physical that I've done. You can also see the progress notes. And each provider can modify their own records, but they cannot modify other people's records. So it looks like Clark Kent wrote a note. If I try to delete this progress note, I can't do it. If I try to edit, I get an error message. Okay. All right, so that's the overview. So one thing I'm going to do real quick is we'll just go through and add a patient real quick. Hopefully this doesn't take too much time. Just be Jane Doe, date of birth. We'll just make it 2001. They'll be a young person. random address, random phone number, email, name of insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Hit submit. Oh, the sex can't be blank, so female. All right, so I've added Jane Doe as a patient. Not only can I add Jane Doe, but for identification purposes, I can also add an image. So let's see, Jane Doe. Jane Doe will look like Ariana Grande today. We'll hit submit, and it's been submitted. So we've made an appointment. Actually, no, we have not made an appointment. So we can make an appointment, new visit, Pest Hospital, the date will be now, hit submit. New appointment appears at the bottom. And let's see, I don't know how we're doing on time, but let's see if we can add a record real quickly, because that's the purpose of this application anyway. So we'll just add a quick little progress note. So you can add a progress note, you can edit appointment, you can delete and display. You can even email these patients using email.js. That's another technology I use. So add a silk note. This is a test, objective to test, assessment, display, this app, plan, display, this app. We'll hit submit. We can go to the patient record, and then we'll go to Jane Doe. So the Jane Doe, go to progress notes. Here you are. We've completed a progress note. And since this is my note, I can edit it. This is not a test. We can submit that. And I can delete this as well, or I can print this out. So it has print functionality, but we're not printing anything. So I think this is the crux. There's so many things that this application can do. Let's see. Another thing you can do is you can also print an appointment list if you want. But we're not doing that either. And you can email a patient as well. So I can put my name, the recipient's email, and a message. So let's see, other things I should talk about. Some of the pitfalls that I had with this project, obviously rendering, the initial render was a challenge that I had to overcome. Managing numerous components and state is another. And then of course, processing speed, because this application can scale up to have hundreds, if not thousands of patients. So processing speed is important. Future directions. I would like to be able to import medications so that across visits, you can import medication lists, import their surgical history, import their allergies. Those are some of the future directions I would like to take with this application. All right, I think that's all I have to say.
Great job. That was awesome. I love how usable your project is and love that you have ideas of how to grow already. Thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone have any questions? Can drop it in the chat. Yeah, so true. Hannah says you have so much functionality. So true. Yeah, great job, Chukwuma. Okay, if there are no questions, we will move on. And if you do have a question later on, you can still drop it and we will circle back at the end of all our presentations to make sure it gets answered. All right, next up we have Caecilia with Build Early Money Habits. You are still muted, I think.
Hi. So, hi everyone. My name is Caecilia. I'm a product designer. Graduated in May this year. This is my final project. It's about financial literacy for early age. The brand is Build Early Money Habits. Okay, so what is Build Early Money Habits? It's an interactive online course designed for children aged 10 to 12. Teach them about personal finance. So the problem is that the parents need tools to educate their children about financial literacy. And the goal here in this brand, we have 3 points. First is to develop product with a robust brand identity, and then creating the product that has compelling digital experience that effectively inform the parents, so they encouraged to enroll their kids. And also because the user is the kids, it is crucial to provide engaging and age appropriate guidance for them. So the solution also has to answer these 3 problems. We have to create informative and reassuring for parents. We got to create gamified learning journey and create fresh modern brand identity. The process going through identifying what is the product, how's the market, through competitor analysis, understand the functional emotional benefit, and ideation, create a brand story, and then define, creating the visual style guidelines, voice and tone, user flow, and then start designing and refine and design and refine design, and then. So I did this competitive analysis. I'm trying to put the competitors all together in one page so I can understand how to create something that can stand out from this crowd. Also learning from other brands that has similar challenge, like from Lego. From here, I can learn how to speak different needs for parents and kids. And also from Halo's website, I learned how to use visual cues to build trust on parents. So the visual cues from like color semiotic and the voice and tone. The key takeaways are like, this is all the elements that I need to put in the product to answer all those 3 problems. How to create informative and assuring parents. We need to create something that educational, safe, informative, credible, and trusted. And to create something that engaging has an engaging experience for children, we need something that friendly, and then like increase their curiosity, fun, gamified. And for the brand, we need something fresh and modern. This is the brand voice. So the visual style guidelines here, the typography I choose the typography with a high readability, and I use this character, an astronaut, and the kick side. So the idea is like create the learning journey is like intergalactical journey where the kids can choose their characters and choose their bodies during all the journey. They learn about the money, and they can earn virtual money during the learning process from the quiz, or every time they can accomplish one section, they can earn money, and they can use that, like learn how to use money, learn how to utilize money, learn how to invest money during this intergalactical game. Like either they can use the money to buy planet or to buy something to protect their planet or something like that. That's the idea. So we got the prototype. So this is the landing page to answer how to assure the parents, like we need to put all the information clearly. How does it work? So the course is one-on-one, and they can earn virtual money, and then they unlock awards and collectible to grow their planet. And then this is also mandatory that the parents have to inform about the safety educational purpose only. And they also, this is the roadmap, something like that. So yeah, and like a glimpse about how the quiz will look like. And yeah, and once they like goes there, and then yeah, and then they will go through this form. Just make sure that they know all the prices, the billing, and they put the information about time, location. So set the schedule with the tutor. This is how it looks like when we send them the warning, the micro interaction, billing, and then once they set and they log in, and then this we find like two paths. Are you logging as a parent, which is the controlling, or you log in as a student, where you do the learning process? So yeah, so that's how it. This is just like just to show the idea that the kids can get the guidance they need to understand how the learning process. And yeah, and they can start like build their characters, and they can start choose their body. So yeah, so it's like answering about the needs of guidance for the kids during the learning process. And also I think, yeah, so like for the parents, they can do the control thing. So they can set the profile. They can track where the kids roadmap, like it's supposed to be like which pace they already finished and something like that. But it just like gave a glimpse of idea about it. So yeah, so I think this is what I done for my final project. It was actually it was a fun project, I think. So it's also come in a mobile version too, but with like exactly the same hierarchy of information. Yeah, I guess that's it for me.
It looks so awesome. Thank you for sharing, Caecilia. You have a couple questions. Is there a way we can find their portfolios and oh, JK, that is a question I can answer. Yes, everyone will be sharing their portfolios and their contact information in the chat after they're done presenting.
Okay.
Got some clapping emojis. And then I got a question, which design tools were used in your project?
My design, yeah, I use Figma for most of my project. And yeah, this is the contact information. You can reach me through email, hello@caecilia.co, and my LinkedIn is designed by Caecilia, and my website is www.caecilia.co. But if you have some problem, probably just like technical problem from the GoDaddy, pretty sure tomorrow will be fixed.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Got lots of claps.
Thank you.
Got a question about Webflow. Are you experiencing that as well? In Webflow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I actually I built my website through Webflow. So I'm learning Webflow, and I think that's the other thing other than Figma. And I mean, like once you get into design and that you want to try all those tools all at once. But yeah, for now I'm learning Figma and to build my website, and I like it.
Beautiful. And then Jessica asked if we learned Figma in the program, and yes, you do. That is a huge part of the design program.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Well, amazing job. Any other questions, you can drop them and we will circle back to them. I actually, Chukwuma, we have one question for you if you are available. Which applications were used for the UI design aspect for your front end? Sorry to put you on the spot.
It's okay. Okay, can everybody hear me? So
Yeah.
so what I use for my front end, I used React for my front end. And I also used Bootstrap for my CSS. So all those little details like the numbers in those little button tabs, a lot of that was done with bootstraps, and the patient displays were all done with bootstrap.
Beautiful. Thank you. Awesome questions, awesome projects. We are going to go ahead and move on to our third presenter, Kelsey, who is going to be talking to us about FFTCG Collector. You are muted, Kelsey.
Sorry about that. So, hi, my name is Kelsey, and I am a full stack software engineer. It has been an incredible journey, and I am thrilled to present my final capstone project called FFTCG Collector. So let's dive in. As a passionate gamer, my inspiration for this project stemmed from my love of games, specifically the Final Fantasy trading card game. And when I began collecting cards, I encountered a challenge. There were no free-to-use applications to manage my collection online. There are only a few or handful of paid options. So I set out to create the solution that would empower other collectors like myself to track their cards and also access additional game resources, all without any additional cost. And one crucial aspect during development that I wanted to do was to ensure that my application would coexist and not compete or interfere with the current game sites. So with all this in mind, let's preview the project. When someone first logs in, they are navigated to this collection dashboard. This will show their total collected cards. They are also able to quickly filter all the cards by any kind of search criteria. And so if we want to do a card name, we can type that in, and that will filter the list. Also, this can be exported as a CSV or printed as well, because some collectors still want to have that Excel version. And so to actually add a card to the collection, you would go to either the sets browser or cards browser. And so starting with sets, we'll click sets in the menu. And currently there's only 4 sets on the application. One thing to note is that we have the percentage completed of each collection. So for this collection, I have 100% of the cards collected, and so 6, 30%, etc. So if you want to actually view the cards in a specific set or expansion, you click the View Details button. And then all the cards load. So each cards have a plus icon button in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can click it to add a card or remove it. And so you could do both with this. And then it tells you that your collection has been successfully updated. So if we click back on the collection, and it actually pushes it to the last page, it says that we added both a full R and a normal version of that card. So next, let's go to cards. If say you don't know the expansion or a set a card is in, you can search for an array of things. You can search by card type, the serial number. Well, let's just search for the name, and this will show that show the search results for all the current cards that match that criteria. Now, each card in the card browser and in the sets information screen has a link to for additional information. So if you click the name of the card, you get additional information. There are a few extra things such as the resource page where users can find additional information. And there is also account settings where a user can update their display name, email address, and change their password. I also added a delete account functionality because I'm a strong supporter of being able to delete your account when you no longer want to have one. And if you're an admin user, you have something extra called the admin dashboard. So if we click on the admin dashboard, you can see the total sets, cards, and users. And we have a few tabs over on the left-hand side. So manage users allows an admin to change the general user to an admin so that they also have access to these resources. Sets is where you can add a set. And to add a set, you will click the toggle, fill in the information, and add the cover photo. And then the table below lists the summary of all the cards in that collection and the total count. So if it's normal, foil, special, full art, etc. Manage cards works very similarly. And if you click the add card, you would fill out the information, click the add card button, and it is added. By clicking on a row, you can either navigate to that card detail page, edit the card, or delete it. So let's just show what the edit card looks like. You can change any of this information as well as change the image. Maybe there was a bad image, you could do that. And if there's a specific collector's note, you can add that and that will show up on the page. And so going over to the technologies I use for this project. On the front end, I built and designed the interface using JavaScript, React, and Material UI. The backend utilizes a Postgres database, and that was with Ruby on Rails, and everything was deployed on Render. So some specific challenges I faced were the responsive design for mobile devices. I solved this by implementing Material UI's breakpoints and media queries, and this didn't solve everything just yet because you have to program it for practically every single thing so that it is user-friendly. So that is an upcoming project I'm working on as well. Another challenge I faced was combining active storage with React, and that is associating images with a specific database record. And I solved this by using the proper content type for HTTP requests. Another challenge I faced was that new deployments actually deleted the database images. So I had to learn how to use cloud storage to make sure that the images persisted every time a new deployment came out. And lastly, the fees for web hosting for both the database and the web application. I've tried to reduce these by limiting some of the API requests to reduce the cost. So some future releases I have planned. For August, I'm implementing email mailers and forgot password functionality. And some future releases past August are updating the dashboard so that it's more comprehensive, a summarized view of all your collected cards, just so that they're not all in that data table. Being able to add a number of each variant. So if you have 3 copies of one variant, you can add the number. And external links to buy cards, and just some general policies and disclosures. And potential expansions, I am thinking about adding a social and trading aspect. So social, the users can have a public profile. So other users, they have the option to have a public profile. So other users can see their total cards collected. And also maybe a trading aspect. So users can say, I want to trade these cards, and they can trade them with other users. And so thank you for listening to my presentation. And do you guys have any questions?
Amazing job, Kelsey. We've got a few questions. I'm seeing prior to Flatiron School, did you have any experience with coding?
Yes, I actually took 1 semester of coding in college.
Very cool. Thank you. And then did you use an API endpoint to retrieve each card? If so, which API method did you use? Ajax, fetch, etc.
So I built the entire API myself, and I am fetching all the data to that database, which is a general fetches and async await.
Awesome. Seeing a lot of shout outs here, lots of clapping. Love the clear passion behind this project. Very cool. Nice design. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions, just seeing a lot of love.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Again, feel free to drop more questions as they come up. We will move on to August, who's going to share with us his product design presentation, also build early money habits.
Thank you. I'll just share screen quickly. So hi everyone. My name is August, and thanks for being here to listen to my capstone project, which will focus on my process from research to the final design. So just a little bit about me is that for the past 3 years, I've worked at a small creative and branding agency, which has really sparked my interest for design and made me want to take the Flatiron product design course. I became interested in UX UI because of the combination of problem solving and beautiful design. Currently at work, I help deliver visual assets for Narciso Rodriguez perfumes, and we create ads for digital, print, and e-commerce. And I would really love to keep growing a skill set in branding, UX UI, and graphic design. So my design process can be broken down into 5 phases, beginning with understanding the client and market for financial literacy education, then understanding the user and their pain points and summing it into a problem statement, then jumping into ideation and creating working prototypes, which to me is the fun part. So my first step in the project was doing market research, analyzing 6 indirect and 3 direct competitors to gain some insights into the financial literacy education space. And through this feature analysis and reading user reviews on the Apple app and Google Play Store, I was able to gather some valuable feedback from users, which helped me identify the opportunity for the brand to be a fun and trustworthy platform, but offering a lighthearted and educational approach to financial literacy. And I wanted to emphasize the live taught aspect of building early money habits. So I wanted to ensure that instructors had a prominent presence within the platform. Then I moved on to some secondary research to better understand how to build trust with parents and how to motivate children. So I read through 5 articles around these goals and discovered that a great way to motivate children is to have them set their own goals, which also led to higher self-efficacy with children. I then created, with all of this in mind, I then created 2 user personas to act as a North Star throughout the process. Understanding their goals helped me keep the project focused to a specific user. So there's Lisa and Evan Miller. And I made them both from Lancaster, PA, because I went to Franklin and Marshall College. So after gathering all of the research, I decided on what I wanted building early money habits to do for parents. I decided that the brand's positioning should be centered around these 3 pillars. So transparency in our intention, human-centered, so focusing on the teachers and their connection with the child as it is live taught again, and also being mindful, because through my research, I found that a concern for parents and children is that too much screen time. And I want to make sure that parents know that we understand that there's a reason why we save and grow wealth, which is to enjoy life ultimately. Next up, I focused on understanding the user journey in discovering, learning, and signing up for financial literacy courses. So using a simple template from Nielsen Norman Group, I aim to gain insights into the user's experience during the process. My market research helped me identify some customer pain points and areas for improvement, which provided a clear vision of the jobs to be done. Analyzing competitor interfaces and identifying gaps allowed me to make informed decisions on what features to include using the Moscow method for prioritization. This process enhanced my understanding of the market and user needs, guiding the development of building early money habits. So with limited time and resources, my plan was always to jump right into the mid-fidelity prototype rather than starting with a low-fidelity prototype, as something I wanted to get feedback on from an early stage was the color palette and typography choice. I knew I would need to lean on a user task flow to guide my wireframing. user flow map. The main tasks per the problem statement were the following. So one was parents learning about the course and getting all the information they need. 2 was enrolling the child in the course, and 3 was child onboarding and helping them become motivated to do well in the course. So after 3 usability tests done via Zoom, I was able to create a high fidelity prototype, which is what you see on the right with the white and blue. The main takeaways from these tests were that users felt that the design had too much copy and needed more visual elements to make the amount of information seem less dense. After some research on consumer perceptions of color palette, I decided to switch the color palette over to blue and white, as this is what was generally seen as more trustworthy. And additional colors were used on more decorative elements like shapes, but CTAs, call to actions, and copy were mostly kept to blue. After 3 more usability tests, I created the final style guide using typefaces Quincy and Circular. Quincy, I thought, was just such a charming font and had nice variation and had these bold and strong weights, which felt fun and welcoming. I especially love the way that these heavier fonts looked with tighter tracking. Circular is the sans serif for body copy, which is, and it is universally described as friendly and having a appealing touch. And so this round of usability testing had the following objectives, which was to observe if users can accomplish the specified task and in how much time. If they made a mistake, can they recover? To identify the areas of the design that required a change to improve user performance. And I'd also requested written responses from each of my participants about how they perceived my brand. With the following feedback, I created revisions to fill the gap between my understanding of the users and what the users experienced. So here's the final design, and we'll get into the changes in the following slides. So revisions between the last round and this round included the following. I changed the typeface to an Adobe font so that I would not run into licensing issues. I added more imagery and shapes in the onboarding screens to illustrate what each slide was talking about. I added this breadcrumb bar so that users could see how far early they are into the process. And I moved the copy down in the screen to create more space for these illustrations and decorative elements. I also decreased the size of the buttons to add more negative space, which allowed for more content to be added onto the screen. And I added headers on each slide so that users knew the purpose of each screen. And also I added more illustrations throughout, as users reported that they felt out of place in the previous design since they did not show up on every screen. Lastly, I decreased the size of the large CTA to accommodate the white space, as the page got a lot busier when I added the illustrations and the header. So on the left is the child onboarding screen, and I added these 3 activities to help the child get motivated, which is to create a vision board and a financial avatar and a future path builder so they can envision what it would be like if they were to do well throughout the course and take it seriously. And on these dashboards on the right side, in the last round of usability testing, I found that users were getting lost on the dashboard, which may have been because of a long scroll format. So after browsing through other digital dashboards on the internet, I decided to create the center component, so this blue rectangle on the right side, which allowed users to more easily navigate between the different features without needing to scroll and forget where they started. So that is my project, and it was definitely a great experience, as I now understand the importance of each step of the process for both UX and UI. I'd always been more interested in the visual design piece of this course, but as a reflection, I'm starting to realize how important the research phase is in order to inform the interface design and style guide later on. Looking back, I feel that it would have been even better if I had interviewed 10 to 12-year-old children directly, as they were the main audience for the product. Their input would have given me deeper insights into what they like, what challenges they face, and how to engage them more effectively. So in future projects, I would definitely make sure to involve whatever the end user is right from the start to create an even more user-friendly and impactful app. So yeah, that's my project. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for sharing. Do we have any questions? Oh yeah, we got, which part of the design process was the most difficult? and ultimately achieving the end goal? And did you solely use Figma?
Yeah, I kept it all to Figma. And then I saw the illustrations I created with Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop a little bit. The most challenging part of the design was probably just incorporating user feedback into each one, because they don't, the feedback that you get it's not really like put this here and put this here, but they kind of just tell you how they feel. And you need to, what I found myself getting caught up in is trying to achieve what I thought that they wanted through what they were telling me through these visual elements. And I hope that I was able to achieve that correctly.
Seeing a lot of love, very comprehensive, so cool, great ideas. And then also excellent use of feedback. So I think you did a great job with it.
Thank you.
And then would you go ahead and drop your contact info, August? Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, if there are no more questions, we're so grateful that we got to spend some time with you all today. Hope you enjoyed these final projects. I'm going to go ahead and drop a survey link in the chat. So if you want to let us know what we did well, what would you like to see in the future, how could we improve this event? We'd love to hear from you. And we will do our best to take that into account. Thank you all again so much for sharing all your projects. They were awesome. Really proud of y'all for being Flatiron grads. So thank you. Everyone have such a good night. And we'll talk to you soon. Victor, are the presenters handpicked to present? They are nominated by their instructors. And then some people also, we send out a graduation doc and they're able to show interest in it. And then we go through after they submit their presentations. So there's a bit of a process to get picked. No access to the form. All right. Well, I actually didn't make that form. So if you don't have access to it, then I actually can't do anything about that. So I am so sorry.